Hello, everyone. My name is Alejandro Rodriguez. I'm a network solutions architect for Accudata. Today's topic is going to be SD-WAN, mostly focused on Viptela solution from Cisco. The first thing that I want to talk about is what is SD-WAN? SD-WAN is a software-defined approach to manage your wide area network, and there are some key advantages that includes like reducing costs for transport independence, like MPLS, 3G, or 4LTE circuits, improving your business application performance, optimizing your user experience, and simplifying operations. Back in the days, the traditional WAN circuits, the function of the WAN circuits was to connect two different sites with the data center, typically by dedicated MPLS circuits. SD-WAN by itself, or by definition, is software-defined network in a wide area network, and that means splitting the control plane from the data plane, where you can have more control and more information and insights from your WAN circuit, and not only from your LAN. So why is SD-WAN needed for the business? As I was saying to you, it's a policy control environment where you can add more granularity on your policies at the WAN level. You can have more control on the behavior of your WAN network with dynamic path selections, specifically for some applications. You can gain control all over the traffic that crosses your WAN. That means you're going to have monitor interfaces to get more insights and details on what is going on the WAN level. And the good thing about SD-WAN is that you won't need lease lines. You can have dedicated interface access or dedicated internet circuits and have them securely integrated into your network. Why is SD-WAN important to your business? Back in the days, the network deployments that we used to have were multiple branch offices connected back to the data center or the headquarters through a leased line or an MPLS circuit. These just to get internet connectivity if you didn't have any local internet connection, or if you want to have control of all the traffic that was crossing throughout your network that was going out to the internet. So you put a firewall right here, and then you will gain visibility and control all over the traffic that goes out into the internet. This deployment makes your solutions a little bit expensive because these lines were MPLS circuits that were very expensive, and they take about 1 to 3 months to deploy those circuits. So that made, whenever you want to open a new branch office, that will take a lot of time, and it was not going to be very useful for new deployments, right? So nowadays, if we move to an SD-WAN solution, let me throw another example. This was the common scenario, right? So branch offices at the bottom, then on top of that, you can have infrastructure as a service and software as a service. Your branch offices, your headquarters right here, your data center. These are going to be your branches. So the typical network deployment will require every branch office to communicate back to the headquarters or the data center for internet connectivity. And then they were going out to the infrastructure as a service or the software as a service throughout the data center or the headquarters. But nowadays, we're adding internet circuits into every single branch office. These internet circuits are going directly to the internet cloud, and if they were going back to the infrastructure as a service or software as a service applications that we were running in those branch offices, we were losing control of that traffic because they were skipping the traffic going back to the data center or the headquarters. So we were losing control. If we deploy SD-WAN solutions on top of that type of network, so having the same scenario right here as the software as a service and infrastructure as a service, Our solution will look like this. So we're going to put an overlay network on top of that, and all of my branch offices and my data center or headquarters will be connected to that overlay network. And what we gain here is we're going to have security, so our network will be protected. We're going to gain visibility and control of the traffic. So now we can manage the traffic if we have any policy-based routing or any critical traffic that we want to prioritize in our network. We just need to configure the overlay network. A good thing about this deployment is that your software as a service and your infrastructure as a service can be integrated into the overlay network as well. So you can manage your infrastructure as a service and your software as a service network throughout your overlay network instead of just having control of the traffic that goes beyond your network. So what are the key results of moving with SD-WAN and Viptela solutions from Cisco? First result is going to be reflected as savings. You're going to reduce the cost of having leased lines or MPLS circuits to having only Internet circuits or maybe LTE circuits. You're going to gain more visibility on all the traffic that crosses your WAN circuit, and you're going to add security. The third result will be is going to reduce complexity, because now you're going to have control of all of your circuits. You can do changes on the cloud on your management graphic user interfaces and with the control plane on the cloud. The fourth result is that you're going to create a WAN network more reliable. So why is SD-WAN important? Nowadays, the cloud adoption is present. So most of the enterprises are moving into the software as a service applications or even infrastructure as a service applications. And that traffic, sometimes it's lost. We don't have control of that traffic. If you have SD-WAN on top of your network, you're going to gain more visibility and insights on all the traffic that goes end-to-end from your network all the way to the software as a service or the infrastructure as a service. And the business have to have more agility, so for you to have faster deployments and quick growth, if you're opening new branches that will be connected to your data center and your software as a service application, you're going to gain agility by opening new branches through the SD-WAN. You can have application optimization and prioritization. So if you have critical applications that the requirements of that applications are to have less latency and more bandwidth utilization, you can optimize the traffic on your WAN circuits so you don't lose any traffic, any packets from that specific traffic. And of course, they will be more your WAN circuits are going to be mostly cost effective because you don't need leased lines or MPLS circuits. Now, what is Viptela? So Viptela is a Cisco solution for SD-WAN that combines the power of software-defined and the enterprise routing and security across the WAN. How is it composed? So Viptela is composed in 3 different planes. And going from bottom to top, if you look at the diagram right now, at the bottom you got the data plane. That data plane could be your cloud instances like software as a service, Office 365, Azure if it is infrastructure as a service, or AWS, Dropbox, you name it. It could be your data center, your campus network, your branches, or even your co-locations, where you are going to have all your routers or your virtual routing instances that are going to be doing all the routing power. So that's going to be your data plane. On top of that, you're going to have your control plane. That's going to be composed by your controllers. On Viptela, those are known as vSmart controllers. So this is where all the configuration are going to be. It's going to be deployed through all your data plane. So any changes that you do at the management level or the orchestration plane are going to be pushed out by the control plane throughout your data plane. And as I mentioned, on top of that, you're going to have your management and orchestration plane, where you can do all the changes through a graphic user interface. This is going to be composed by your vBond and your vManaged appliances. All the three of these elements, vSmart, vManaged, and vBond can be on-prem and cloud deployments. So how is Viptela composed? So we're going to have an SD-WAN cloud. So we're going to call this cloud the SD-WAN cloud or Viptela cloud. On top of that, we're going to have our management tools. So we call it vManage. This is going to be our graphic user interface. So we can access this graphic user interface throughout our computer on a web browser. And our vBond. vBond is our orchestrator. This orchestrator makes our network a little bit easier. So if we want to deploy any new branch, then we just go to vBond and integrate the new router into our SD-WAN by the IP address and MAC address, and it will deploy automatically for us. So this is the orchestrator. Then below our management level, we're going to have the vSmart. This is a cluster of controllers. We're going to have 3 controllers. Those are going to be the brain of our network. These are the guys who deploy all the policies and configuration into the data plane. And our data plane will be below all these 3 control plane instances. So the data plane could be your cloud instances, your branch offices, and your headquarters. So why go with Viptela? Viptela adds automated security to your WAN circuit and blocks complex threats in under 10 than 10 minutes by the integrated security infrastructure that has behind the curtain. It has predictable application experience that can make up to 40% software as a service faster than what you currently are experiencing in your traditional WAN circuit, and it will add simplicity to your enterprise. It can escalate up to 1,000 branches. Viptela with security built into your WAN deployment. So Viptela by itself has security integrated and built into it by adding URL filtering, malware protection, application controls, IPsec encryption. All these by the already known umbrella application from Cisco. So any site or any appliance that you have integrated into your SD-WAN network will be protected by a full edge security stack that could be on-prem security or even cloud security to add network segmentation, enterprise firewall, secure web gateway, and DNS layer security. How to engage SD-WAN and Accudata into my business? Nowadays, you can find some solutions with your current WAN provider that can be offering SD-WAN for you. Back in the days, Accudata, we were offering SD-WAN solutions throughout different vendors, but we were not covering the connectivity and the smart hands deployments as well. Nowadays, with Accudata, you can engage Accudata into your SD-WAN business by leaving Accudata having Accudata to control your WAN circuits, your smart hands deployment, making cost competitive solutions for you, and of course adding the MSP on top of all the SD-WAN solutions. So you can be covered by Accudata all the way from the SD-WAN solutions, your internet circuits as well, plus the MSP team to manage your SD-WAN solutions as well. So what makes us different from different vendors or the WAN providers? We can add flexibility to your SD-WAN, so you can choose what you want and what you don't want. You can have your SD-WAN managed by us we are going to make this all these deployments or changes agile, so we're not going to be locked into a single carrier contract. We can do changes whenever you want. All the deployments are nationwide, so we can have smart hands capabilities to go out into anywhere in the country to make the new circuit deployments. Of course, all the deployments are going to be easy for you, so they're going to be zero touch for you, automation configuration, and on the SD-WAN is going to be cloud managed for you, and we're going to add visibility for you. So deep user information, application, and WAN performance visibility throughout the SD-WAN solution with Accudata. I want to thank you all for being here with me with this SD-WAN and Viptela conversation, and if you want to find out more about any SD-WAN solution with Cisco, Viptela, or Cisco with Accudata, please engage with your Accudata's account manager. Thank you all.